it available to them if they ever run into a situation that they would need it. So doesn't cost us anything. We don't anticipate that it would increase call volume or cause any, it would just be a preventative measure for community members to have access to this. If you go to the Steve Rumler Network, Hope Network has a website with access points. And even just since we started this project, 4-6 months ago max, I mean, the number of locations, even within Chisago County, has expanded. There was nothing available when we first started having this conversation. Now, other libraries in the county, mental health facilities, and other buildings are all providing this. So it is definitely becoming more available, and we're happy to have one here in Wyoming now. Any questions about medication or?
Do we have any plans for expanding our spots for it?
You know, we were just the facilitator of the process. You know, we wanted to find locations that are open 24 hours or that have regular hours posted. And we looked at, we considered, you know, was it mental health, you know, clinical, therapy, counseling office, and their hours weren't public or they were hard to find. So, you know, it was, there was some connotations about having it at a government facility like City Hall or the police department that, you know, wasn't necessarily ideal to provide that. So this is a great venue for us to do that. Obviously, anyone's able to do this. They're able to get access to it and they can sign up to do it. It was just we wanted to try and bring in a community partner that would be willing to do it. So there's other options available. It just was probably the best option for right now.
And our officers carry
yes.
that in their car?
Yes, we're required to carry two dosages now. Yes.
And they're all trained on how to use it?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful to Fairview for working with the city, and thank you to Mr. Linwood and Chief Bauer. We know that the opioid epidemic the numbers are continuing to go up, and that harm reduction is a really important part of trying to address that. It is really easy to walk in. I did it the first day that it was available. Walked in and no questions asked, and now I have it and carry it with me, and if I need to use it, I can save a life, and if not, hopefully I don't ever have to do it. So I think it's a great community resource. The same organization, the Steve Rumler organization, also provides online training so that if community members want to pick up a kit, they know how to administer it as well. So thank you both for your work on that.
And just for the council's information, as of Thursday of last week, it had essentially been open not even a week. Fairview had given out 12 naloxone kits and 9 fentanyl test kits just in 6 days. So both really great numbers, and I think as it becomes more aware, the public and our community becomes more aware of it, I'm sure those numbers will continue to go up.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to number 12, Age-Friendly Minnesota Community Grant Update. Mr. McFarland, is this you?
This is me.
All right.
Honorable members of the council, the City of Wyoming was awarded the Age-Friendly Grant in April of 2023 with the purpose of using the funds from that grant to create an accessible garden within the community. This update's just to let you know that the location for that garden has been picked as staff continues to move along and plan this out. And it will be installed as an expansion on the existing community garden that's located at the Wyoming Fairview location. Part of that expansion is it's going to be 60 feet by 100 feet of a new area, and within it we're going to install 2 wheelchair accessible plant beds as well as 4 raised plant beds. Beyond that, we're still working through this, and we have more details to come as we move forward, but we're continuing to talk with our partners and hoping to share another update in the near future.
Awesome. Any questions on that?
No.
All right, cool. All right, so then we will move on to new business. Number 13 is to consider Resolution 240437, a resolution approving the installation of 3-phase transformer for the railroad lift station by Xcel Energy for the amount of $11,242.29. Superintendent Reeves?
Yes, a little background on this railroad lift station, or lift station number 2 is deals with our highest volume of wastewater through the city out to the joint sewer treatment plant, and we are working with Xcel Energy to get the transformer upgraded on site. We're currently running 2-phase power to the lift station, and we need 3 to be able to effectively handle the waste and we've been having a little bit of trouble over the past, I don't know, 6 to 8 months with having brownouts because we're missing that third phase. We're losing a leg of power to the system, and so then we get called out to monitor it, and it's kind of a scary thing because nobody wants to start having sewer backups. So this is what's been worked on between prior to my arrival. Staff that was on board then, Erickson Electric and Xcel Energy have worked together on this. So looking to kind of put a close to this nightmare, if you will, about the issues that we've had and start moving things in the right direction.
Awesome. Questions from council?
One question, having it in a underphased, undersupplied can cause long-term damage to the motor, which would need to be replaced, is that correct?
The pumps, we're concerned about the pumps. Nothing yet, nothing's been found, but ongoing, that is something that we'd be worried about. So another reason to get it done.
Member Schilling?
I don't have any questions. Ready to move forward.
All right. Member Yeager?
I'm fine.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Member Onstead. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes. Number 14 is to consider Resolution 240438, a resolution approving utility work by Erickson Electric Company, Inc. for the new transformer at the Railroad Lift Station 2, for the amount of $8,400. Superintendent Reeves, is this also you?
Yep, so these mirror each other. Understand that the 8,400 is underneath the 10,000, but being that the two are concurrent and the work will be getting done together, I just wanted to get everything out in the open.
Sure. All right. Any questions from council?
No question.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstead. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Number 15 is to consider Resolution 240439, a resolution accepting the Intensive Comprehensive Peace Officer Education and Training Grant from the Minnesota Office of Justice Programs. Chief Bauer.
Yep, that'll be me. Members of council, both 14 and 15 will be related, or I'm sorry, 15 and 16 will be related. I'll just do one summary for both. As I mentioned before, we submitted for a $50,000 grant with Minnesota OJP and for a funding to hire and send a college graduate to law enforcement training and hire them as a temporary employee. This grant is a $50,000 grant that will fund the training that is being provided for them through Hennepin Tech, and will also fund approximately 27 weeks of their salary and benefits for this temporary position. The city will have some responsibility, depending on how long it takes after they complete their training, to get them fully hired. We're estimating that about 3 weeks that will be responsible for their salary. That would be a 2025 budget impact, so we would address that during our budget process for 25. But essentially, at the completion of this program, they would be able to take the licensing exam and be hired as a police officer with the city. We are anticipating 2 sergeant retirements in 2025. And so anticipating that this position would backfill one of those vacancies. And essentially, as you look at the breakdown of the budget, it's a $50,000 grant. The tuition, they have given us a total cost of $20,600. Salary costs are $24,088.72. And benefits, we've estimated it with the single benefits at $53,1128, totaling $50,000. There is some flexibility as this goes along. If we do need to adjust these numbers one way or the other, we can. However, the max is $50,000. Anything over and above that would be on the city to cover. So that's essentially getting approval or requesting approval for us to sign the grant itself through the state. There's a reporting process. There's a lot of oversight to making sure that we're, doing what we need to be doing. And then the second part of this is actually creating the position, which is this IC Poet police cadet, and that's a temporary full-time position, a 30-week estimated time frame on the position. 22 weeks of that, they would be at Hennepin Tech finishing or completing their training. They would need to be a 2 or 4 year degree graduate in from a regional accredited university or college. And essentially, we would be hiring them as a probationary police officer with the police department upon completion of this. During the time period after the fact, we would bring them in until we hire them as a police officer. Once they complete their education portion, we would bring them in and have them do kind of CSO type responsibilities, getting them oriented. We could get their field training processes started. Part of this would be when we hire them for this temporary position, we would do a complete background, psychological screening, a job-specific functional tasks and medical screening process. The same thing we would do with a police officer, just so we make sure we don't have any surprises down the road. So doing those things, there is some cost associated with that, but we can absorb that in our budget this year. And they would have to meet all of the requirements to be a police officer, which is defined in state statute or Minnesota rules 6700, 0700. So essentially, there's job criteria in there, but is there any questions about either the position or this approving the grant at this point?
Okay. Member Yeager, questions?
Okay. What happens if they wash out?
Of the,
I mean, we've paid some of their tuition, and at the end of the day, they either flunk their physicals, mental or physical, or they decide they want to go elsewhere.
we would be doing those screening processes during the hiring process to begin with. So that wouldn't be an issue. If they do leave, there is no, I mean, we could put requirements in place like we do with our reserve cadet program, that we would put in, we would have them sign an agreement similar to that we just did with the reserve cadets, that they would be obligated, that ultimately the city is not financially responsible for that grant money.
Okay.
It would just be returned, the state's on the hook for that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
What happens if at the end of the day there are no vacancies?
If there are no vacancies?
Yeah, there are no vacancies to enforce.
I don't anticipate that would be an issue. I mean, we're down 2 right now, and we have 2 next year. We're going to have discussions about that. We're going to have to be flexible with our positions when we have eligible candidates and when people are available. We're going to have to consider looking at when we're going to have vacancies, and that will be part of the 25 budget discussion to be more flexible with that. We're going to have to recognize the hiring environment we're in, and when we have candidates that are interested and they want to be starting here, we're going to have to move forward with at least considering that type of hiring environment. That's just kind of the reality where we're at.
All right, because my concern would be, we hire them and basically expand the force, and then when there is a vacancy, we still hire another one.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the question.
No, that if, in the situation where there is no vacancies,
Sure.
we hire them anyway, because we need to be flexible and whatnot, as
Sure.
you said. But my concern is that in that scenario, we've hired the individual. When a vacancy does occur, we hire another officer to fill the vacancy.
Well, that
And
would be,
in effect, it's expanding our force.
sure, and that's always council's decision to make that, at that point, whether or not we would be adding an additional person or not
Right.
at that point, so.
Okay. And then the other question I had was in your job description. What metrics are you going to use to define a temperate and industrious habit?
Are you looking for, like,
No, I
what
was
we would
asking
include
what-
on a performance appraisal?
I haven't seen those terms used in a job description in a long time. So
So these were
how
pulled
does
from,
how does one confirm that your prospective officer has industrious and temperate habits?
I think these are all up to our interpretation for an annual appraisal. I mean, this is,
Okay. I mean, it was one.
we could have that conversation with every one of these points, and
Yeah,
I don't know that that's necessarily what we're here for.
I think industrious can be with synonym. I mean, it's hardworking, it's dedicated, it's diligent. I mean, I think there's a lot of synonyms to use that, just like any job description, I think.
Okay, I've just never seen such
Sure. These were pulled from a national database that is used for creating job descriptions for police officers specifically.
Okay.
Member
That's fine.
Schilling, questions?
I don't have any questions, so I'm just excited about this. So, I mean, essentially what we're looking at is to backfill an empty position at this point with this grant program.
This would be essentially, they would not be, for the timeline of this, they would start the schooling in October.
Yep.
So we have a significant recruiting effort that we would need to do to try and, I mean, this is a different pool of people. These are people
Right.
that have degrees that have, for whatever reason, have never been able to make those final steps to go to law enforcement training and become a cop. So essentially, this is a different pool of people. This might be a firefighter, this might be a paramedic, or someone that is just looking to make that career change. Or, we talked about if, there's all kinds of different careers that we would be focusing on. So this isn't just, this is a little bit different recruiting. That's why we're giving some time, April through June, to do the recruiting initiatives, posting it in June, doing the hiring process, so we would have them be available for the schooling in October. But they wouldn't be done until April.
Okay.
So this would be a 25 position.
All right.
I would hope that we have the 2 vacancies filled that we have right now prior to that. And this would be, like I said, for one of those sergeant replacements next
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of
Chief.
course.
Member Onstead?
I have no questions, but I only hope that we are in a position where we have too many officers. I would think that would be in this world's climate, that would be a good place to be.
That would be amazing.
All right. This sounds like a great opportunity. I'm just curious, given that this is a state initiative, do we know kind of how they're marketing it? So when we're talking about how we'll recruit to find candidates, is the state pushing this out to different
They're really
agencies?
not. It is up to
Okay.
individual agencies to how they want to do this. There's a lot of them, I would guess, already have a CSO or someone that is a current city employee that they've been trying to figure out how to bring them in. I have a sense that there are a lot of people that already have someone identified. That's kind of what I've been hearing, that they've been looking for different opportunities. They're either, and they have someone that they're trying to get transitioned from one position to another, and they already have someone lined up, and it's gonna be a very easy process for them. So it's not a state initiative to market these. They will have it on the post board's website. We will have a link on there for the Wyoming position and how to, so there'll be a website with all of the available positions on the post board website. And like I said, some of them may not even post there because they already have someone lined up.
Okay. Do we know, this is a fairly new initiative, do we know if other cities have applied for grants? Is it, or how many?
Yes, it
How
was.
many municipalities are taking advantage of it?
Off the top of my head, I believe it was 26 were awarded, if I remember correctly. And they're gonna look, that it was give or take, if I remember right. And they're looking at doing a second phase of it actually, and to re-up it even possibly this year. They wanna kinda get this one started and see if there's any little hiccups, but they will probably be doing another one as
Okay.
well. Yeah,
Good deal, thank you.
yeah, of course.
All right, without any other discussion, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by member Onstead, do we have a second?
What do we approve?
I'm sorry, motion by member Schilling. This is resolution 240439, a resolution accepting the intensive comprehensive peace officer education and training grant from the Minnesota Office of Justice Programs. We have a first by member Schilling, do we have a second? Second by member Onstead, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Number 16, Chief Bauer, is there anything that you'd like to share on the consideration of approving the creation of the intensive comprehensive peace officer education training police cadet temporary position?
A lot, I know,
That's a
sorry.
mouthful.
No, I summarized it. If there's any questions about that, I can answer them though, specifically about the position.
Okay, do we need a, okay,
I'll make the motion.
all right, we have a motion by member Schilling, do we have a second? Second by member Onstead, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. So this brings us to number 17, to consider the hiring of Rick Lopez as the Assistant Public Works Superintendent for the City of Wyoming. Superintendent Reeves.
So as the packet included the background information, we had a competitive process, reviewed 11 applicants and interviewed 9 moved the top finalist from the first round of interviews into a second round, and then brought one back for a final interview. And Mr. Lopez brings a lot of a wealth of knowledge, both in streets and utilities and municipal operations to the table. And I'm excited to get him on board and get working with the crew and serve the residents of the city of Wyoming.
Absolutely. All right. Member Onstad, questions?
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No questions. Glad to be filling it.
All right. Member Yeager?
It's my understanding that Mr. Lopez comes highly recommended from Woodbury. However, though, when we created this position in 2022, I was not comfortable creating a higher managerial position to replace a lead worker. And despite, how well Mr. Keating did and how highly recommended Mr. Lopez is, my opinion on the position as we defined it has not changed.
Superintendent Reeves, we've budgeted for this, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Second question, can you tell us a little bit more about what the job responsibilities, how the position fits within the Public Works Department?
So this is going to be day-to-day operations, boots on the ground as being able to highlight what's coming, be able to look forward to projects that are in the forefront, and be able to highlight staff, what staff we're going to need, what the staff is going to need to complete the projects, work on some budget things, work together with me so that we can figure out how we're going to plan our work, and then also be out with the crew, making sure that they have what they need during ongoing projects, and finally wrapping up punch list items as we're wrapping things up. I can tell you in my 6 weeks that I've been here, I've been very busy doing a lot of what the assistant's gonna be doing, and also trying to do what my role is. So I see a high level of need for this, so that the department can function effectively.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No questions.
All right. I will motion to approve this. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Passes. All right. That brings us to council reports. Member Onstad.
I attended I have a note here, the work session meeting on the March 19th and the special meeting on March 27th.
Thank you. Member Schilling.
I attended the special meeting on March 27th, and I have no report.
All right. Member Yeager.
Oh, I attended the special meeting on the 27th, and thank you all for watching.
All right. I also attended the special meeting on the 27th. Thank you all for watching. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.